Greetings everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm going to use this opportunity to explain a bit more about my own personal philosophy in being a wildlife conservationist in Zimbabwe, and it's my view is shared by millions around the world. I expect we all know this to be true within our hearts, and that is that God is not just some old white man with a white beard sitting on some white cloud. That's not what God is. God exists within every living being in existence. God exists in every animal, in every tree, in every plant, in every mountain, in every hill, in every rock, in every ocean, every river, every stream, every lake, etc. God exists within the entire universe, within planets, within stars, within galaxies. That's what God is. God is not separate from creation. God is creation. The creation is God, and God is basically a consciousness, a divine consciousness, the original, the perfect original divine source creator consciousness behind everything that's in existence. Basically, everything we see is consciousness. Everything is energy, frequency, vibration, and that's what Nikola Tesla said in his famous quote: "Think in terms of with the universe. The universe is made up of frequency, vibration, and energy. And that's what God is. God is a field of consciousness, a divine consciousness that lives within all living beings. So when I see I see God within lions, I see God within elephants, I see God within whales and dolphins, I see God within every living being I come across each day, whether I'm at Boomy Hills on the shores of Lake Kariba, or even here in Harare, just sitting out here in the garden and observing the insects and the birds, and I can see that's all God. I see God in everything, in all living beings. And as my famous quote goes, every animal is a sentient being. Every animal is a individual, a soul, a divine spark of the same source creator consciousness, which exists within all living beings as it does within you and me, as humans. So thus, every single living being has the same undeniable right to be treated humanely and ethically, with love, kindness, compassion, and respect. And that's basically the truth. That's the whole magic, the miracle, the beauty of it, is that when you know this in your heart, and you've woken up to it, and you realize this is that God is everything. God is everywhere. You develop such a joy for life, a wonder, an awe, a newly inspired awe for all living beings, like watching a butterfly resting on the leaf of a bush in the sun, or watching a thunderstorm come in, and the scent of the rain rains on the wind, wet soil, and then the thunder, the lightning, wind, then the rain, the heavy rain, and you're watching the rain hitting the roof and blowing off in sprays of with the wind being blown off in big lot of sprays of moisture coming off the roof. That's all part of the beauty of life, and it's like when you get to see the famous Kariba sunsets and sunrises too, they're both equally magnificent. We're just seeing God in all his glory, because God is not separate. God is not a separate entity from everything, from creation. God is everything. God is the sun. God is the water. God is the mountains and the trees. God is the animals. So, and watching a thunderstorm come over the Matusadona Mountains, in by Lake Kariba, that's an equally magical, miraculous experience for me. And I think when we all understand that we all carry God within us, humans, animals, birds, fishes, reptiles, mammals, trees, plants, rocks, water, etc. When we realize this, then we can see the divinity within each one of us. When we look at another living being, we can see the divinity of God's consciousness within their eyes, and that's what truly opens our hearts. That's what makes us become more compassionate, more kind, more loving. We find it easier to love. We find it easier to be kind. We find it easier to be compassionate. And my message to all of you today is that, always be kind and refrain from judging others, or try to. I know it's not easy. I speak from experience, but at the end of the day, we're all part of God. So every human, no matter what skin color we are, what race, what ethnicity or heritage, we're all part of the same source, the same source consciousness. And when then we realize that, then everything just becomes so pointless. I mean, the conflicts, the fighting, the constant arguments online in social media, it just becomes pointless. It's like you have the right hand, and then you have the left hand, and they're both fighting each other, yet they belong to the same body. It's also like, it's also that famous metaphor: we are all branches growing on the same living tree. So if you're having the branches fighting amongst themselves, no one wins. Everyone loses. Not only that, it harms the old tree. And unfortunately, humans have forgotten this. Hence, all those thousands of years of fighting and oppression and all that nonsense. But the good thing is that we are realizing this. We are waking up. I mean, yes, these times are chaotic. They are, this year, especially for me, has been very hard. And I suppose it has been for you. I suppose it's been the same for you too. But the fact is that, just when you look at someone, even your worst enemy, and I struggle with this too, but this is something I'm practicing all the time. Learn to see God within them, just as you learn to see God within all living beings, within animals, and see God within your loved ones, your friends, your family, and even your worst enemy. Because even it can be hard to accept, but even the worst people on the planet are also part of that divine source spark of God. But unfortunately, they've been cut off from love, the divine love of source creator. So love, without love, there's just fear. And fear breeds hatred and negativity. And that's how it's been over the course of human civilization. But we're evolving. Every day I see it, more kindness, and then there's more kindness, more compassion, people greeting each other with a smile. It's growing. I mean, stop watching bloody BBC or bloody Sky News or CNN, or stop reading The Guardian or Daily Mail, all that kind of junk, because they just they feed off they feed off your negativity. Just do not give them the satisfaction of that. Ignore them, ignore that BS, and go and look at all the good news that's going on in the world. There are many sites for it, like literally, there's even apps you can download from Play Store, and sure enough, it shows you all the good news that's going on. And like literally this year, in 2026, has been a landmark year for victories for animal rights, animal welfare. There's so many animals being rescued from circuses and cruel zoos and given to going to sanctuaries. Wildlife populations are increasing in the wild. People are finding solutions to free energy, and cleaning up the environment, cleaning up pollution. And that's where, seeing all that positive news and seeing that love, that kindness, that compassion, we're really connecting with the essence of God. And That's where God is. God is in every act of love and kindness, compassion and respect and unity. God, that is where God is. You'll not find God in the wars or the online arguments. You'll find God wherever there is love, wherever there's kindness, wherever there's compassion. You'll find God within the animals, within all living beings, and you'll find God within nature. And also, yeah, so love all living beings and love all people, and also love yourselves. Don't forget you yourselves, just like I am. You are also a divine spark of the same source creator consciousness. So learn to be kind, just love yourself, forgive yourself for whatever you feel is holding you back, for any wrongs you may have felt. And I use this, it's this short prayer, the Ho'oponopono prayer from Hawaii. I don't know if you've heard of it, I'm sure you have, which is basically, goes like this. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And you can say that to yourself, you can say that to a loved one, you can say that to an enemy who hurt you, or someone you yourself hurt. And that's how you, you basically, that really helps. And literally I've been using that, and I've found it's decreased my anger, and my bitterness, and it's made me a more peaceful person. And so yeah, just end of the day, remember that God is within every living being, and be kind. Be kind to every living being, because God is within within each and every one of them. And every single being is a divine spark, a divine soul of God. And I think that's about it.